What's up, everybody? I want this video to serve as an introduction video to the Homeoblock, and there's plenty of information to cover, so let's get right into it. So the Homeoblock device itself was invented by a man named Dr. Theodore Belfour, and he actually has a video on YouTube called the Homeoblock Appliance that explains things pretty well, so you could probably watch that after this if you haven't already seen it. Okay, I wanted to mention that at the time of doing this video, I don't believe Dr. Belfour is taking new patients. I called in the summer of 2022, it was June, and I was told that he's not accepting new patients because he's traveling and I think doing conferences. I think he might also be looking to retire, but I don't want to be spreading misinformation, so if anybody knows anything else or Belfour sees this himself, somebody please let me know. I instead was forwarded to Dr. Laura Tirado by Dr. Belfour's receptionist. So I'm not receiving my Homeoblock treatment through Teddy Belfour himself. I did visit his office in New York, but Dr. Belfour actually shares an office, or actually works out of Dr. Laura Tirado's office, and that's who I am getting my treatment through, is Dr. Laura Tirado. So they work hand in hand. I don't know if I can say that she is like his protege, but Dr. Belfour is working out of Laura Tirado's office. So I'm not getting treatment from the inventor himself, but I'm getting treatment from the woman who owns the office that he's currently working out of in New York City. So to clarify once again, this is who I'm receiving my treatment from. This is Dr. Laura Tirado. She shares an office space with Dr. Theodore Belfour, who invented the Homeoblock. So you can imagine that she's a pretty reputable source to get this device from. And honestly, I can't speak any more highly about Dr. Laura Tirado and her staff. Everybody from the front desk to everyone in between has been absolutely excellent to work with. Thank you guys. All right, and so what is the Homeoblock? It's a little dirty because you're going to get some toothpaste on it. That's what that stuff is. I'll get into cleaning it in another video. But ultimately, this thing here is a palate expander. You're going to wear this on your upper palate, the roof of your mouth, and the idea is that you can see there's like a split here. There's a split here in the middle, and so you're going to get a key. And you're going to put that key, oh, this finger, it's backwards on video, you're going to put that key in this hole and you're going to crank that nozzle up. See, there's a yellow arrow in there telling you what direction to go. And this thing, which has the split in the middle, is going to start to widen. And so it's going to open your palate in that way. Here is a little close-up of the Homeoblock. It's shaped like your dental arch or your palate. The idea is that the dental arch plays in the development of jaw development and facial development. And there's other palate expanders that exist out there. I don't know all the nuances and all the different kinds. What I can tell you about the Homeoblock is that it's only worn at night, and I believe most palate expanders are going to require you to wear them 24/7. I don't know how hard that would be of an adjustment because, for example, with this is what I sound like when I try to talk with my Homeoblock. So I know I wouldn't want to wear this 24/7. If you do a Google image search of palate expanders, you'll notice most of the results show young children. There's really no age restrictions on when you can get a palate expander. The first person who I had seen who had the Homeoblock was this man right here, Tom Colquitt, who's an actual dentist. I'm going to link this video below because you have to watch this video. You can stop mine right now and you don't even need to finish it. There's plenty of amazing information in this video. This is Tom right here. These are his results. This is him around, I believe, 68, 66, 68. This is him at 70 years old. I know this looks like it's reversed, but this is his actual Homeoblock results. And there's not too many good results online if you search. So there's plenty of good information in his video, and I'm really happy to be sharing this with you guys. Please bear with me because I'm really new at all this, and so these videos are going to get a lot better and a lot more informative. Right now, there's not too much in searching Homeoblock. There's this guy that looks like Jason Sudeikis, and you can't really tell what's going on. There's this lady, also a little hard to tell what's going on unless you know what to look for. You can see her nose got a little wider. That's a result right there. Her jawline looks a little bit sharper here. She looks happier. Tom looks happier. So that's what the long story short on this device is. It's an oral appliance. It's classified as durable medical equipment by insurance. I can't promise you that your insurance will cover it. I'm still going back and forth with my own insurance on whether it's covered or not. They had approved me already. I'm actually still waiting to see that money. I think we all know how insurance works. I don't know if I will, but I would like to get back to you guys to confirm that later at another time. My insurance had told me it is classified as durable medical equipment. Again, this is an oral appliance. You wear it in your mouth and is essentially a palate expander. So this is the key that you're going to be using to crank open your Homeoblock and have it start widening on you. And I'm pretty excited because I am actually due to start cranking it open tonight, so I'm going to have that on video for you guys. So I'm going to show you guys how I actually expand the Homeoblock. There's the arrow, the direction that we're going to crank this little nozzle in. So I'm going to put the key in and lift up. You can see it cranks up. And that's one turn. And so I'll show you how I would actually expand the Homeoblock. There is the arrow. And so I'm going to turn this nozzle up to expand it, I believe 1 millimeter, something around there. So key is in, going to crank it up. You can see it start to So the Homeoblock is a unique palate expander for a few reasons. One is that you're going to notice it's not exactly symmetrical. There's more acrylic on this side. All of them are going to have this extra acrylic there, and it's going to be unique to your mouth. Most jaws, as you can see with my face, most faces are pretty uneven. I'm not even sure if I'm looking directly at the camera, to be honest, because this is recording on an iMac, but my face is not exactly even. So your bite block is potentially going to be a different spot than mine. It might be on the other side here. I have mine on my left side. I'm not going to butcher the functionality of this thing, and I'm just going to screenshot from that Homeoblock appliance video to give you guys some more information on what that purpose is for that bite blocker. You'll also notice that there is these little springs here that they call long arm flap springs. Once again, I'm just going to put that video back up for you so you can see the information on what those two things do. So another interesting thing about the Homeoblock that you might not know about is that once you get it, you're kind of all on your own. You don't need to keep going to visit your dentist every week or every month. You have 1 to 3 follow-up appointments when you first get it. But after that, they kind of let you go off on your own and do your own thing. They're not going to tell you have fun with it and turn as much as you like because you're trying to grow bone here. And so the idea of turning once a week or day sounds a little bit crazy to me. I was instructed once a month, and that sounds believable. You know, if you're trying to grow bone, I don't think you're going to really grow bone once a day or once a week. It just sounds not very plausible to me. So in one of my previous videos, I talked about why I needed the Homeoblock. So I'm not going to share that whole story and go too in depth, but I will share some new information. On Laura Tirado's website, they actually list the Homeoblock under sleep apnea treatments, and that's exactly why I got my Homeoblock, was that I wanted a better option for sleep apnea because I tried a CPAP, I tried an MDA, mandibular advancement device. Wasn't a fan of either of them. I tried every new pillow, blanket, mattress, supplement, everything. This has been the best thing for my sleep apnea. I could say that with 100% sincerity. And again, I want to keep this video focused on the Homeoblock and not specifically my journey right now. But the reason I had such bad sleep apnea is because I had a very bad deviated septum that required 2 surgeries. I will say, and please keep in mind if you're considering the Homeoblock, they may ask you to actually correct a deviated septum. If Homeoblock is something you're actually considering, I've heard before that they may actually require you or ask that you try and get that deviated septum surgery done beforehand. I actually had to get 2 of them. That is why I was a good Homeoblock candidate, is because I had already gotten 2 deviated septum surgeries on my own in order to completely fix that deviated septum. That was my choice. It wasn't recommended by these dentists. I had already done it well before even discovering the Homeoblock, so that's what made me a really good candidate. So this is me and some of the craziest hair I think I've ever had. This is part of a PowerPoint presentation that Laura gave me when we were going over my potential of being a good candidate. These are some CAT scans that were taken at her office. You could see this is my tiny oropharynx, narrow airway at occlusal plane. That's what she wrote there. Here's some more x-rays that were taken. What is this, looking up or down? I can't tell if this is looking up at my face. Yeah, it must be looking up at my face, but I believe this is the side that I had that was completely blocked. One surgery kind of cured it for a little while, but eventually ended up getting stuffed up again. It had all sorts of polyps. Then I had to get that same side worked on again by a different doctor, and now I'm breathing extremely well. Here is another x-ray of my airway there. You can see there's like a whole bunch of mucus buildup. If you have a really bad deviated septum, you know that breathing and inhaling is difficult, but actually what's worse is the exhaling. You can't really exhale properly. So again, I needed the Homeoblock because I struggled with nose breathing most of my life, which led to sleep apnea, and those things just kind of cycled on each other and ended up leading to worse nose breathing and worse sleep apnea. I eventually had 2 surgeries to correct the nose, and it helped for a while. I mean, I could breathe good now, but it didn't really impact my sleep the way I wanted it to. I hate the CPAP. I don't really like wearing different things and having to do all this stuff every single night. I then find the Homeoblock. It's perfect for me. Sleep apnea is my reason for getting it. If you have sleep apnea, that's a great reason for you to get it. There's also other reasons people get Homeoblock. So the YouTuber Stephen Hopkinson had mentioned that he actually wanted the Homeoblock for back and shoulder pain and I guess spinal related injuries where he wanted to get back in the gym, and he claims he always knew that there was a bite element to that, which is again very interesting, but the human body, it's all connected, right? But unfortunately for him, he had to end his treatment because he was originally told to expand his Homeoblock every 2 weeks, which again, with the idea of trying to grow bone, it just seems a little bit too fast, and so he was kind of given some misinformation in my opinion. Some people actually want a Homeoblock for purely aesthetic reasons. As you could see from that PowerPoint presentation that was given to me by Laura, I have a right side bending rotation, so it looks like I have an uneven face. And actually, there's a video somewhere out there where Ted describes how he invented the Homeoblock. He's working in New York City, which is near Broadway, or Broadway is in New York City, and there were some actors who had mentioned struggling breathing, and he kind of had created this device to help them with expanding those nasal airways. And then as these actors were getting their makeup done for their performances, their makeup artists would say, hey, what's happening? Your face is changing. Things are happening here. You could also look at that picture of some of those patients that I had shown on the Google image search, and you could see that there's actually something interesting happening. They're becoming more aesthetically pleasing. Now, getting the Homeoblock for aesthetic reasons is a completely viable option. Do what you want to do. An important piece of information that I don't think I've talked about yet is that in growing your upper palate and widening that and widening your face, you're growing bone in your maxilla area. I'll find some x-ray videos from Tom Colquitt's video where he shows actual diagrams of bone growth happening in the upper face. And by growing the upper face, the maxilla, the cheekbone area, you're not just going to have a big upper face and a small, weak jaw. No, what happens is you actually grow some bone in your jaw and you have a stronger, more defined jawline. And that, of course, is one of the beauty standards of nowadays. And again, if that's something you want, that's completely good reason for you to go get a Homeoblock. For me, it was more just the function of the nasal breathing and the sleep. But that is something that happens there, is that you can grow you could grow a deeper jawline. And so on the subject of growing the jaw, I was also given what is called just a bite blocker by Laura Tirado. And this isn't for the upper teeth, this is actually for the bottom teeth here. So this one you could actually wear without hearing as much as the Homeoblock where I had that lisp. This one is a little bit more discreet. And the point of this is to keep you from clenching your mouth. Alright, so I'm going to use this box as an example of how the bite blocker is working. Remember, this sits on your lower teeth and prevents you from clenching your jaw. So with that in mind, if we imagine this box is your mouth, and the top lid of the box is your upper teeth, and the bottom is your jaw, then with the bite blocker in place, rather than having your upper teeth lock your lower teeth back, you're going to then have some space created by that acrylic bite blocker when you're wearing it. And with that space, your jaw has room to grow forward. And it's not going to grow forward in a way where it's going to give you an underbite. You just have to kind of think of this as your upper teeth, and that is kind of locking your lower teeth in place. So with that bite blocker there creating space, your lower teeth, your jaw now has room to grow. That's the functionality of the bite blocker. And so I think that's going to be it for now. Thank you if you've watched this much so far. If there's anything I didn't cover, please ask in the comments. I'm only here for you guys. This is obviously not a sponsored video. I don't think I'm going to be making money on this, and I don't intend to. I want this channel to be purely for information. And I know there's not a lot of it out there for the Homeoblock. And speaking of the money side of things, I almost forgot the most important part. I should have thrown this in the very beginning. What does it cost? That is obviously a very important question, and this thing is not cheap. This thing cost me $7,500. And my insurance claimed they would cover 80% of that, and I've been battling them for the last 6 months or so. So I haven't even gotten a definitive no. I actually was told I would be covered, but it's been nearly 6 months and I haven't seen that money yet. I would love to update you guys as soon as I get any sort of information. I'll probably reach out to them again soon, but $7,500, this thing is not cheap. I know I'm pretty fortunate to be able to get this thing and to even be living somewhat near New York, where I could go and find the inventor and get the Homeoblock from him. Well, actually, I didn't get it from him, but I got it from Laura, who's just as awesome and has been working with Dr. Bell for many years now. So I trust both of them. I respect them so much. This seriously has changed my life. And again, I'm just getting started with this stuff. It's pretty amateur right now, and I want these videos to be good. So thanks if you've watched this far. Please just comment anything you want to know or any suggestions, and I'll be happy to answer in the next video. Thanks again for watching. Actually, I've never tried to wear both of these at the same time, but I guess you technically could. Oh God. Yeah. Well, I'm not gonna do that again.